for coming to Autumn Becomes Me. My name is Heather Autumn Astani, and today we're going to be talking about how to make the most delicious Penne Alla Vodka I've ever made. You can do this by hand. You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant. You can make this. It's simple and easy once you learn how. Now, I live in Massachusetts, and in Woburn there is a used bookstore, and I got this book. It's kind of hard to see it with the glare. There we are. Called the Gourmet Cookbook, and I mostly got it as a joke because it teaches you how to cook with foie gras and lobsters and escargot and how to go and bone, a duck and things like that. And it was just kind of a fun read for me. But then I came across this wonderful recipe, and it was like, oh my god, I can actually cook something from this book, which I, up until that point, thought for sure, there's no way. Everything was way too expensive. And it was kind of like a fun dreaming book. But this is actually quite affordable. And like I said, it's one of those things that you can make for your significant other and give them just a fantastic, really romantic dinner. So I'm going to show you how to make that. First thing you're going to need is a half stick of unsalted butter. This is about 4 tablespoons. Then you're going to need an onion, finely chopped. Then you're going to need 2/3 of a cup of vodka. Now, I don't recommend blowing a huge amount of money on this. I actually use just a regular bottle of Smirnoff because most of the alcohol, in fact all of the alcohol, is going to be burned off while you cook it. So there's no reason to waste tons of money on a real high-end vodka when you're really just using it for kind of an undertone of flavor, and that's it. Unless you're gonna drink it afterwards, and then by all means get like the most expensive stuff because you're worth it. The next thing I'm going to be using is canned tomato puree. Kind of see it in there. They have these huge cans where I go, and you just need 3/4 of a cup. So it's a little like, you're wasting all of it, but it's okay. You can actually put it in a container and it'll keep for a couple days. When I'm making something like this, I usually like to use the leftovers in another recipe like spaghetti sauce, which then I freeze. And so I would recommend maybe doing the same if you feel bad about wasting it. The other thing you're going to need is a full cup of heavy cream, and then you're also going to need a 1/4 pound of finely chopped ham. Now I don't go to the deli for this. I actually just go and get the sandwich variety. You can see it's kind of thin. It's a little on the thin side. And I like to cut it into kind of like strips because it's going to just be easier to pick up. I've seen people like chop it into these little tiny squares, and there's really, you want to make sure that it hooks onto your fork and not the bowl, which seems to be the most common problem with this. So just do it into little strips and you should be fine. The next thing you'll need is Tabasco sauce. As you can see, I kind of burned through this a little. You're only going to need 2 drops of this, and I highly recommend sticking to that, or it's going to be the only thing you taste. Next is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I figured they could share a ramekin. The next thing you'll need is a full pound of penne pasta. Penne is this has a little tube, and it's ridged on the outside, which is how I like it. They have smooth varieties, but I prefer to have this one because it just picks up on the sauce more, and that's the whole reason you're having this particular type of pasta instead of spaghetti or linguine. You want it to cling. It usually fills this little inside tube part. It's really good. So I would recommend this. Go with whatever brand you like. That shouldn't matter. And last but not least, you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan Reggiano. I tend to have that at the end. It's already, grated, and it's just going to be thrown in. So I'm not going to bring that out just yet. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take our butter, and we're going to melt it over medium-high heat. And get that all sorted out. I like the fact that we're using butter and not necessarily oil to cook our onions in. I should say that this is going to be on my autumnbecomes.me website. So if you want like a printed recipe version of it, then by all means I'd go there. If you're looking for the book, again, it's called The Gourmet Cookbook by Ruth Rachel. And I believe I've seen it on Amazon as well. So if that's something that you would like to look through and find recipes on your own, or if you really want to learn how to cook escargot, then that's where I would check for that book. This is unsalted butter, by the way, which I think is good because the ham by itself is going to have way more than enough salt for this, plus we're adding some later. So the next thing we're going to add is our onions. There we go. I'm just going to coat them very nicely in butter. And you're going to want to cook these 5 minutes or until it starts to become translucent or, they get soft. Okay, our onions are starting to look really good. They're starting to have that almost clearish, translucentish thing going on. So what we're going to do now is add our vodka. There we are. Now again, remember, if you have little ones, don't be afraid of adding this. They're not going to get drunk. Most of this is going to be burned off actually as we're cooking it right now. Okay, now we're ready to start adding in our tomato puree and our heavy cream. Remember, you want to keep this on medium heat as you continue to add ingredients. You want this to be nice and warm, so make sure you keep stirring it, and it's already starting to get that awesome smell. Oh, I love it. Here we are. Now it might look a little bit wet, liquidy, so don't worry about it. It's going to thicken up as we cook it. So what we want to do now is add our ham. Just put that right in there. There we go. And we're going to add our 2 drops of Tabasco sauce. Just 1 scoop. You're done. And then we're going to add our salt and pepper. And you're going to start lowering the heat. There we are. Just stir that all in. Good. So hopefully by this point you've had your water on and boiling. So it should be boiling now, and we're going to add our pasta. There we go. For our sauce, you're going to just want to keep it nice and warm. So I would say put it on a back burner, maybe on low, and all that's left is our pasta and our cheese, and then we're ready to start plating. And there you have it. Hopefully yours turned out so good. I want to leave you quickly so that you can enjoy your meal. Here's how mine turned out. Feel free to just add a little bit of parsley for a garnish. Now, this can go in the fridge. It serves 4. It goes in the fridge just fine, except a lot of the pasta will absorb into the noodles, so it's not going to have such a creamy coating going on like it does now. It doesn't mean it tastes bad. It actually tastes quite good, but you're going to have to maybe loosen that up if you need to. Also, you might have to add some pasta water, which the instructions that I put on my website will show. So if you just head to autumnbecomes.me, you'll see everything written out. It should be very plain, and tell me how it goes. Let me know. If you take Instagram, do a hashtag autumnbecomesme. I'll check it out and like your photo. Also, feel free to comment in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day.